In this video, you will see how I design brand identity for a clothing brand that not just looks cool, but also creates emotional connection with its audience. So, backstory, a really good client of mine reached out to me again. I had made a logo for his barbershop a couple of years back, and now he wanted to start a clothing brand. Okay, so about the brand. Mad Clothing Co. It's a streetwear brand, but it's also my client's life story. So he started from a small barbershop and now has expanded it into a successful business. So he wanted to turn that journey, his drive, determination, and passion and hard work into a brand that inspires others who are chasing their own dream. Now that's a solid brief. Now our first step, crafting the brand story and strategy. Okay, let's be real. Anyone can create a clothing brand. It is one of the most saturated market in the world, and anyone can give you a good quality product at affordable price with obviously cool designs. So we're not gonna start there. We're gonna start with not something you can see, but something you can feel. Emotions. So reading the brief, I have created an origin story because people connect with the story more than the actual product itself. So Mad Clothing celebrates the resilience and hard work of those people who don't give up, who are on their journey to greatness. They are in the process of creating their own legacy. That's how we get our brand ethos, legacy in motion. And using this story, I have created 4 brand values. First, legacy, because we are all on our journey to greatness, and this is our legacy. Second, authentic. No shortcut, no filter. We are not gonna follow any trends. Third, hustle, because we grind every day with consistency and purpose. And fourth, humble. Confidence without ego. Now we got our story and brand values. Next, let's do some stalking. So this is one of their competitors, Inaka. And I can see their target audience is youth. I can see some textures. I'm getting more of that stylish, fashionable vibe, which we definitely don't want because we want our brand to be humble and grounded. And also I can see some of those trendy, distressed texture look. Again, we don't want to follow the trend. We want to be authentic. That's our brand value. And so overall, I see youthful, stylish, fashionable, and mostly trendy vibes. So we have to differentiate our brand from this. Now with all the details, I have done that into 2 audience profile. First, Midnight Hustle. They are 18 to 28 years old, young, energetic, and in the process of building their own legacy. Second, Legacy Grid. They are 25 to 40. They have reached their goals and now refining and solidifying their legacy. They are your highly skilled professionals and experts in their respective careers. Then I turned both audience profile into mood boards. It's basically a collection of designs, color palette, photography, and anything that shows the visual tone and the mood of the brand. Moodboard 1 has more of that young energy. It's clean, minimal, and modern, and we get that sense of movement in photography and overall clean midnight vibe to show that late night grinds. Moodboard 2 is a bit more rustic and vintage. It still has texture like Inaka, but it's not those trendy kind of texture. It's more of that vintage, mature, and craftsmanship kind of texture. So I sent them both to client and he wanted to go with Moodboard 1. So now let's start with the fun part, which is designing the brand identity. So client wanted to use the monogram from the logo I did for his barbershop. It was a combination of MAD. It had that strong, stable, and grounded look which matched perfectly with our brand values. I also paired it with Workmark. It shares the same slab shape features as our monogram, so it fits perfectly with the brand. Next, color palette. So I wanted the whole mood of the brand to be midnight, calm, and composed. So I chose midnight blue to represent those late nights, midnight grinds. And then I chose nocturnal black to represent the darkness of night itself. Then phantom navy to give a sense of depth and resilience. And finally, mist white to add some calm and clarity. And this is how it's looking with the logo. And next, the brand ethos. And we have already created it. Legacy in motion. But what does brand ethos even means? It is like Nike's just do it. These are simple words that define the soul of brand because words are important. Words have power. Words can radiate emotions. For Mad Clothing, I crafted a simple brand ethos, legacy in motion. Simple, yet it holds all the meaning of the brand. And to elevate it, subheading, built for bold to move in silence. Again, simple yet meaningful. We can go even further to explain it, but brand ethos is the most important. Now we've got our word. Next, typography pairing. For brand ethos, I made it bold, tall serif font to show its authority and resilience. Subheading is a thin serif font as a supporting element, and the body is clean slab serif font inspired by the logo itself. Next, visual language. It's basically a visual system that ties everything together. It's your brand color, illustration, photography, typography. When everything moves in harmony, your brand becomes instantly recognizable and visually consistent. Think of it as someone's unique fashion style and body language. Even from across the street, you know it's them. That's what visual language does for the brand. It creates that instant recognition, and if this works perfectly, you don't even need to show your logo. And right now we are missing that. So I was looking at our brand words and we had bunch of them like hustle, family, emotion, resilience, and bunch of others. So I thought, why not turn it into illustrations? So I did that. I have already done it, but I want to show you how I draw it. We have the word emotion, and what's the better way to show it than a heart? So I did a rough sketch. I also added this scar to show the pain and emotion. Now really important, we have to keep our brand emotion in mind. And I wanted this illustration to look like calm moon in a dark night. I had this image as reference. You can see the shadow here and highlights here. Now we want to capture this emotion in our illustration. First, I clean up the illustration and remove this section to mimic that shadow. Now let's bring in color. But before that, I want to show you balls. I mean these balls. These are really great reference for coloring. Let's take out the blue balls. These are flat colored, but layering makes them look 3D and glossy. It makes it easy to print on merchandise. So we start with the base color, then add highlight and white on top, and this part is what we call a rim light. It's basically a reflected light. Let's add it in, and we got our heart inspired by this moon. Then vectorize it in Illustrator and we get our final illustrations. So I use the same technique to draw all of these illustrations. We got trees with a tree house to symbolize family, but it has other meanings too, like roots for staying grounded, legacy, and growth. We have hands to show action, but also creation because hands creates. And gratitude, since it's praying hands, and hustle, obviously. You can pause it and read all of it. Then I did some word illustration as a supporting element and combined both into a brand pattern so we can see and feel all of the emotion at a single glance. Now let's say it in a mock-up. Alright, I see potential. And I also turned those illustrations into brand assets, so we got some badge, emblems, sticker designs. This will look really nice as keyring, and you can give this to customers as complimentary item inside their package. Customers really love these small things. It really helps nurture the relationship. Next, photography style. So for a clothing brand, this is really important because that's how you show your product. So with matte clothing, I had 3 goals in mind: to show motion, to show action, and to show change. First, motions. Since the brand ethos is legacy in motion, so I wanted the environment to have that sense of motion and chaos. So I chose this slow shutter photography style. Second, action. I chose our subject to be in motion or on the way to somewhere. As you can see, he is still moving forward around all the chaos and she is waiting for her subway to go somewhere. Again, it represents that around all the chaos, they are still on their way and putting the action. For change, I put the motion on subject himself. So some parts are in focus and some are in motion to show that transformation, that change. And I even made a Photoshop tutorial so client can do it himself. Chug it in, hit blur gallery, path blur, drag it, crank it up, mask it out, done. Now we got everything set up, so let's see brand in action. And first we obviously gonna start with about the brand and our brand values. We have already talked about it, so yeah, that's that. And next, brand personality, so it shows you on the glance that what is the brand personality. And next, our chosen mood board. Obviously we have already explained all of it. Next, our logo and word mark on our brand pattern, our logo mark on itself, and our word mark on itself. Next, our brand illustration. So you have already seen how I made it and all the thought and meaning behind it. And next, our supporting typography pack. And next, our brand assets. So these are really important aspect of branding, which I'm going to show you later on as well. And our color palettes and meaning behind each colors, and the logo on colors, and obviously our photography style where we show motion, action and change. People don't really put a lot of effort on photography, but this is the most important part for clothing brand. And then obviously our typography pairing. Our brand ethos is in like this tall, authoritative kind of font, and our supporting element is a little bit slanted, and then this one is like for clean text inspired by the logo's slab serif features as well. And next, our brand pattern, and this is one of the most important part of this branding. It shows all of the emotion at a single glance, and this is a little darker version of that. Next, let's see the brand in action, because we have to see how it looks, right? First, this is how it's gonna look on the posters, and yep, as you can see, we have the motion added to the picture as well. And this is how it's gonna look on the hoodie. I have used the pattern for the merchandise itself, so that is a creative way of using the pattern, because that's not just for looking cool. You can actually put it in practice. And next, a little mock-up for website, because obviously you're gonna sell it in a website, right? So yeah, website also has to be like up to the brand. And oh boy, I'm gonna talk about it at the end of the video. And this is another package, and this is how it's gonna look on the box. And then our card design, a little light box, and these bands and these sticker. People really look down on this, like they don't really put much effort on these things while they are creating their clothing brand. But small things like this that you give to your customer as a complimentary item, it really helps create that personal connection with your brand, and it helps nurture that relationship for a long term. Also, it is a free marketing. And next, box designs, and yeah, obviously some posters, some another posters. That's how it's going to look on a big billboard. And yeah, that's it. Then I sent him all to client and he really loved it. The end. But I want to talk to you about something really important, not just for a clothing brand, but for any business in general. And I will explain it using this image. So in design, we have this principle called design with empathy. It means your audience, your people, they are center of everything you do. You have to put yourself in their shoes and feel how they are feeling, and have a deep understanding of their struggle, their emotions and their needs, and then only create design and solutions for them. Now look at this image. Imagine you were holding this package. How would you feel? The logo, strong and stable. Then the brand ethos, legacy in motion, built for the bold who move in silence. It reminds you of your own journey to success. Then you see the brand pattern. It makes you feel all those emotions you go through on your journey to success. So at the end, our goal is not to create a cool design. Our goal is to create emotions. Emotions so memorable that even after years, you may forget the design itself, but you will always remember how it made you feel. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you create a memorable brand. See you next time.